Okay, Wednesday, 5 o'clock. Appreciate you guys and some traffic going on out there, Prater. We got a big audience, probably sitting in traffic. If you're being responsible, shoot us a text. Let us know. Let us see where you are. How bad is this traffic jam out there, Prater? It's our Dollar Loan Center video segment. So welcome our video audience on our KTIK YouTube channel, JP. We're still looking for subscriptions. How about 10? We get 10 new subscriptions during this segment. Let's go for it, JP, as we head over to the Double Tap Pub hotline. Boise State football general manager Brandon Jones joins us. And Brandon, holy smokes, Boise State has a GM in football? Hello, are you there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here. Thanks for having me on. How y'all doing?
We're doing good. I love asking this question. Brandon Jones, Boise State GM. What is it that you do? Why were you hired?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, I think, if you look at the landscape of college football and where it's going and just how things have come into play, how NIL has changed the landscape of it, it's a lot of things that, from a general manager standpoint that you kind of want to get your hands into and continue to help a program move forward. So that's from watching and looking at rosters and as far as who's available, keeping your ear to the ground on what you're trying to recruit, what you're trying to bring in your doors. At the end of the day, the coaches want to go coach ball. They want to be able to put a good product on the field, and they want to be able to produce wins. And so there's only so much time in a day. And so, we try to have it to where keep our coaches informed on what's going on the recruiting side. Of course, they're still going to do some things, but just be a buffer between identifying the talent, what that talent is, instead of talking to a kid on the phone and you getting to know that coach, getting to know a little bit about that kid. You just doing all of the work on the front end and then setting it up so that they're coming in not blind, just having a sense of the room and what they're walking into.
Brandon, how did the position, Boise State football general manager, pop open? How did it get to you? How did they approach? When you applied, how did this all work out?
Yeah, so I was in the SEC for 5 seasons at Vanderbilt. I got to Vanderbilt from Green Bay doing some personnel things there. And so, I've always had a love for the game. I coached and just wanting to stay around it, having an opportunity to face some adversities there at Vanderbilt as far as creating value from a standpoint of staff turnover and then transitioning back into the player personnel side. So just having an opportunity to grow. I know that Boise State's football tradition is second to none. If you look at what they've done traditionally, what they do year after year, that's a draw in itself. And so when you're looking at places to go and grow, Boise State for me was a no-brainer in the sense of the trajectory of the program, what they've done, where they're going, the opportunities they have before them. And so I looked at it as, hey, listen, getting in and following Coach D. Coach D and I, our first conversation that we had was about 45 minutes. And 5 minutes of it was about, ball, how he sees things going and how he's building his team. But the other 40 minutes were about life, family, were about, values, spirituality and things like that. So a lot of things aligned and, just led me to Boise State, and I'm grateful for the opportunity.
You're listening to Brandon Jones. Yes, Boise State football has a general manager. I'm not sure how many other college football teams do. We know that NFL teams do. We're going to dive into that a little bit. But Brandon, I just wanted to talk about your specific roles and just kind of a couple of follow-up questions there. Kyle Young is the director of player personnel, I think is what they call him. He's kind of been in the past, kind of been the recruiting director. Are you going to focus mostly on the transfer portal or incoming freshman kids? If I dive down deep into the weeds, how do you go about your 8 hours, 10 hours, 12-hour days?
Yeah, so what we do is we have a couple of different areas that we focus on. So we split it into, we have our high school recruiting side, we have our portal side, but we also have our junior college side as well. So we have a lot of hands on deck, and Kyle has done a great job of building up our student volunteers here, of getting them involved, of just doing the work of creating those lists. And as they create those lists, we start to sort through them of guys that fit the play style that we need. He's done an amazing job. I can say that beside every good GM and working hand in hand are your DPPs, and just the way and the structures that he's put in place and that he continues to carry out. I think, I'm looking forward to continuing to work alongside Kyle Young. He's done a great job for us.
As you said, Brandon Jones, Boise State general manager, spent the previous 5 seasons at Vanderbilt, the first 2 as an offensive quality control coach, and the last 3 as the director of scouting. Before that, he did an internship with the Green Bay Packers, a former Ohio quarterback. Brandon Jones, who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself away from this job. Where did you start with football, and kind of give us your life through football and your resume?
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm originally from Georgia. Paulding County, Georgia is where I was born and raised. Played my high school ball at Marietta High School. After Marietta, graduated there and went and played at Ohio University for Frank Solich. Coach Solich got there in 2005. I was one of his first quarterbacks that he recruited there. So I was there 2005 through 2009. Just always had a love for the game. Dad was a coach, mom was a teacher, so I grew up around it, kind of like understanding what those dynamics are, and played arena ball for a few years after college. And then I kind of fell back into coaching. So after I fell back into coaching, was in the Atlanta area coaching and training quarterbacks there, and had an opportunity to get into or interview for player personnel in Green Bay. So I went there and, learned so much from the organization, second to none organization there, top notch. John Eric and Goody and all those guys were great for me and great for my learning. And then I still had that itch to get back on the field and coach a little bit. And so I had an opportunity to get to Vanderbilt on the offensive side with Coach Mason as the head coach, there for 2 years and working there. And then after that staff turnover, Coach Clark Lee came in. He's still there right now and gave me an opportunity to create some value and earn my keeps there in the player personnel side. So my wife, Jennifer, and my 2 kids, they're 6 and 5 right now. They are excited about it. They've supported me all the way through. They're my motivation. They're the reason I do what I do. And, I'm grateful for this opportunity to be here. That's a little bit about me and what I'm looking forward to doing here.
What's the end game? Do you eventually want to be a head coach? Or maybe a personnel director guy?
Yeah, I think, end game is, for one, be where your feet are and do the best job in the position that you're in, right? I want to add some value here to Boise State. I'm looking to see where that can be. Again, with the tradition that's set, the expectation is high. So every day we come in with the worker's mentality of earn it every day. And that's what I'm here to do. End goal, like I said, I'm going to take it one day at a time and see, as long as my family is good and they're enjoying what they're doing and being around me. And that's ultimately what I do it for. And I think I'm in a great place here. I'm not looking for the next move, not looking for the next step, but being where my feet are right now and looking forward to game one. I still haven't experienced my first game on the blue. And so that's going to be something for me. I was there for the spring game. I had a couple of chills, and then I believe one of the chief of staff walked by. She was like, "You think this is something? Just wait till game day." And so, it's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to here. The community here is awesome. It's an amazing place to be for the couple of months that I've been here. So I'm really looking forward to really diving into it this fall.
Float the river yet?
I did. I floated the river this past Sunday.
Of course you did. Of course.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Hey, BJ, our producer, John Patrick, across the glass, he's lived here 40 years and he's never done it. And we're working on it. You've lived here 4 months and you did it earlier. Nice job.
A true Boisean right off the bat.
Hey, he's Brandon Jones. He is the general manager of Boise State football, and he's right here on your Double Tap Pub hotline, Prater on the Ball Game, KTIK, the ticket. What do you foresee, Brandon, being the most stressful part of this gig? What's going to keep you up in the middle of the night?
Oh, well, I think making sure that we hit and making sure that we live up to the expectation that's set, honestly. And again, you've got some big shoes to fill here. Just from the winning traditions and everything that comes with Boise State football. We have so many people that come by just to visit and look through the gate just to look at the blue. And so, it's on the national stage, and just making sure that we deliver when we're on that national stage. That's the biggest thing. And how can I play my part? How can I put or help Coach D put the best product on the field and create and generate the men that these families bring them to us with? Like, we want to make sure that we give them back better than they came. And so, again, just growing people, and that's kind of what keeps me up at night.
Brandon Jones, Boise State general manager. I got a confession during spring camp, especially when we were inside at the cabin. I spent a lot of time watching you because I figured out who you were, and I should have come over and said hi, but I was kind of the creeper dude that just kept an eye on you. You were very quiet, and you always stood about 30 yards away, and you did nothing for 3 weeks but observe, soak it in, watch. And obviously you have a lot more commitment and a lot more responsibilities than just that. But I was really impressed with a guy who always just comes in and keeps his mouth shut and just observes for the first couple of days, weeks, months, whatever it takes. What's your style like? And was that what you were doing during spring ball? Were you just, because at that point you're not recruiting players, you're watching the current roster. What are you doing when you take that in? How did you process spring ball as you just stood there and watched Boise State football?
Right. So, I think the thing that was important for me was to understand like what we have coming into it. You don't know what you have until you assess. And so just giving time to assess and see and just take in, like, I think everything is information. And so many times people want to come in and they want to get right to the work, but not knowing what work needs to be done. So I'm really big on the efficiency piece of it, making sure that what we are doing, that we are efficient with what we're doing, efficient with our movements, having a process, or what does that process look like? So the assessment piece for me was just stepping back, taking it in, understanding coaching styles, understanding players, how they're accepting coaching and things like that. Just giving everyone an opportunity for me to learn them and not come in with any type of what I heard about someone. It was the biggest thing for me was evaluating with my eyes and not with my ears.
What's the biggest thing you learned? What's the biggest thing that caught you off guard or didn't expect?
How much they love football here. You hear about it, but until you get here, it's different, right? Like the guys, that the way they attack the weight room, the way they attack the meetings, the way they attack practice, just the want to and the willingness to be a part of a place like Boise State. Again, you hear about it, but it's different when you see it. And I was taken back by, again, the enthusiasm of guys attacking the workouts, showing up and just doing the work. You got guys, you hear about blue collar, but for me to see it, like, that was very impressive. That was really impressive for me.
Brandon Jones, he's the general manager of the Boise State football program, making his debut interview. I don't think anybody's talked to you before us, Brandon, so we're going to lay claim to that. We're getting to know the new general manager of Boise State football. So play this scenario with me. I'm still trying to wrap my head around exactly what a general manager does for a big college football program like Boise State. So say there's a guy, Brandon, that you full well know, this guy, you know what he's capable of, and he just now gets into the portal, or whenever he can. He's now in the portal. Where does general manager Brandon Jones come into play? What's your role if that does happen, where maybe there's a potential transfer portal guy that Boise State may or not be interested? Are you the guy who finds him, or does somebody find him and bring him to you?
So it's a little bit of both. Sometimes I find them and sometimes they're brought. But again, it's a department, the recruiting department / personnel department works hard at making sure that we know those guys as they hit. When they do hit, it's a lot of parts that go hand in hand with it. It's the first, make the contact to see if there's interest, present your university. This is who we are. This is what we're looking for. We like your position. We like your traits. We like everything you've done on the field. Like, what is your interest, or what is your draw to Boise State? Sometimes I say, Coach, I'm highly interested. Okay, well, if you're highly interested, this is what we want to do. So then we start running it down to get them connected with coaches and to get everything else connected as far as the visit. What does this timeline look like? Are there any external factors? So a lot of it is like an interview, but so somebody has to do the interview. Somebody has to feel good about moving this prospect forward. And so that's a lot of the work that's done, especially with the transfer portal part.
Brandon Jones, you mentioned your playing career, Ohio, the Bobcats, and Frank Solich. I'm assuming you're a smart enough man to know that Frank Solich has joined us as a proud Idahoan now, living here with family. I'm assuming you go over there every Sunday night and fleece him for a big fat meal at this point. Is that right?
You would be surprised. Coach Solich and I haven't crossed paths yet since I've been in Boise. It's been a lot of traveling back and forth to Nashville since my family's still there. They haven't moved out quite yet.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just again, getting settled this summer has been good though. And, I do look forward to getting those meals from Coach Solich. He has a wealth of knowledge of things that he's done. He's seen so much ball, probably longer than I've been alive, but that's a wealth of knowledge there. And I'm grateful for everything he's done for me.
Brandon Jones with us, Boise State general manager. And Brandon, you're going to have to change your X bio. It's coach_B Jones ever. You got to make that general manager _Jones right now. Right, man? I mean, let's beef this up a little bit. This is, the preeminent general manager in the Mountain West of a college football program. He's with us now on KTIK, The Ticket. What do you think is your strength? Where does your strength come into play in finding the right player? And what's the communication like? Is Spencer texting you saying, BJ, I need a corner, damn it. And then you say, on it, coach. And then you come back with corners. Like, how is the relationship with you and Coach Danielson as you guys try to find, look at the talent pool of players now, Brandon, and they're everywhere. How do you and Spencer coordinate this together? How's it all go?
Yeah, so that goes, we meet daily. We meet daily. We talk not only on our roster, but things that are available and try to look around the corners, try to, forecast what could possibly be. We go through a ton of scenarios. But again, like I said, the entire department is what feeds us the information, from the assistants in the department, from Kyle Young. Like, everybody's trying to look around corners and anticipate any kind of movement. And the more movement we can anticipate, the more we can stay with bent knees and flex. And again, so when Coach D brings something to us, like, we're on it. Like, we already we got that list ready to roll. And so what do you want us to do with it? And so again, it's great to have that direct communication with Coach D, like, on a daily, because nothing really falls through the cracks. He'll bring things to our attention that maybe we weren't focusing in on, and we'll bring some things to his attention as well, so that he didn't see. And so again, I think that the partnership is going to be a good one. And like I said, Kyle Young has done an amazing job of making sure that everything stays on point and afloat and just running at a high level. So the expectations here are very high. But I think we got to have the right people in the building, and ultimately players make it come alive. And so that's what we have to continue to do, is get good players.
Brandon, I just out of curiosity, why the general manager title? Was that something you guys talked about? Was that something that was presented to you by Spencer? How many other college programs have you ever heard that have a general manager title? I know it's just a couple of words, but it's just kind of a curiosity.
Yeah. There are a couple of colleges that do have the general manager title. Oklahoma, I believe, went to the general manager title. And you're starting to see it more, like I mentioned earlier. The NFL model is trickling down to college football. And I think what you will start to see is more personnel departments being built out like you have in the NFL. Ultimately, if you had it, ideally, you would have a high school scouting and you would have a college/portal scouting, because there are so many players there. And, in the NFL, they have player personnel, they have pro personnel, and they have college personnel scouts. And so, just looking at that, the efficiency of which they can get the work done, here at the college level, is very much multifaceted, in the sense you have to bounce back and forth from high school to college or college to high school. But that was trying to allow the coaches to focus a little bit more on the ball, and then weed them or roll them into the recruiting piece of it, and where they need to, maybe increase some frequency with the kid here or there. Because again, there's only so much time in a day, and however we can help from a player personnel standpoint to move programs forward, that's the biggest focus of general managers and of the player personnel department.
Brandon, General Manager Brandon Jones, Boise State football on our Double Tap Hub hotline. Before we get chat here, what do you want Bronco Nation, everybody, thousands of people listening right now, what do you want them to know about their favorite football team? And their program now has a general manager. It's you, and obviously you're taking this super seriously, and it's a new level of college football, a new wave. What do you want these fans to know?
That you're going to get the best of me. I am grateful for the opportunity. I'm excited. Every day we come into the building, I look at the tradition of walking up the stairs, like those jerseys light me up. You have one of the best. When I say the best, like this is the best. I think it's the best college football program in college football. And again, the expectation is high. If you look at it, the last 25 of 26 seasons, it's a winning program. Like that's second to none. That's hard to say. And so again, it's the guys that have come before us. Has nothing to do with me. It's me just upholding the standard. And every day that I step into the building, that's what I'm going to do. You guys are going to get the best of me. And I thank you for welcoming myself and my family to the community. It's been an amazing place.
Yeah, we can't wait to keep bringing you back on. Boise State football general manager Brandon Jones, and the art of the deals that are going to be going on in the Blameyer. Brandon, really appreciate your time today. We'll let you get back to work, and appreciate getting to know you, man. I saw you throughout spring ball too, and it's kind of like, who's that guy? I should have went over and introduced myself. My partner and I, we will make certain we do that next time we're in the building and we bump into you, Brandon. Great stuff today.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you all. Great having me on. Thank you so much. And I'm grateful to be a Bronco.
Absolutely. That's Brandon Jones, your general manager, Boise State fan. What stood out to you about that? Are you like, yeah, my football team, look at the climate. We need a general manager. There's too much stuff on the head coach's desk, Prater. That was kind of my takeaway from that.
In 1994, which I know was a long time ago, Boise State had 9 coaches, a head coach, and, 3 part-timers. The support staff and the role. And if you go to broncosports.com right now and click on coaching staff and support staff, holy cow, they're building a little mini empire there. I know they're just trying to keep up with college football who's doing this, but the support down there, the resources, what they've invested in this football program over the last 20 years has been pretty inspiring.
Prater on the ball game, KTIK, the ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.